Impressionism was without a doubt a movement against modernity. Many artists portrayed scenes of daily middle-class life, exposing the immorality and facade of the middle class. They also began to expand their forms by moving past the extremely realistic style of the accepted form of art at that time. Developments in photography also allowed artists to play with new techniques, working off of the concept that if a person wanted something realistic, they could just get a photo taken. Art was now a way to express imagination and freedom. Modernity was characterized by the belief that facts and observation held the answer to everything. Modernists held a very objective view of the world and believed that all things are governed by a stringent set of rules. This was shown through realistic art, in which the artist's goal was to capture a perfect image. Impressionism and post-impressionism's play with forms combated these ideas. Artists like Georges Seurat and Van Gogh experimented with new methods of painting. Seurat used pointillism, a technique where clusters of dots are used to create shapes. Van Gogh painted things very differently than the realistic way would have constituted. Many of his paintings, like Starry Night and Scream, came from his imagination and own perception of a scene, rather than what he saw with his eyes. Modernists also held close the belief that humans were very close to having discovered everything there was to be discovered. To them, humans had essentially conquered the world and were creatures to be commended. Impressionism, however, exposed the darker, nastier side of humans. Edward Manet, considered to be the father of Impressionism, painted scenes of middle-class life in works like Luncheon on the Grass and Olympia that revealed the immorality they were trying so desperately to hide, thus disproving the assertion by modernists that humans had everything figured out. Artistically, Impressionism was characterized by light strokes of soft color that captured the essence of the scene, rather than the details. Artists typically played with light in the way it shifts, as well as motion in the different ways it could be portrayed. Colors were generally light, and black was seldom used. Instead, darker tones were created by mixing other colors. Impressionism had a sort of dreamy, swirly feel to it, as opposed to the exceedingly realistic themes of the era before. Monet's water lily and haystack paintings perfectly demonstrate these elements. Some would argue that Impressionism was the downfall of true art. Others will say that it opened doors to a new freedom to perceive art as they liked. Despite these differences, almost all can agree that Impressionism led art to develop into what we call modern art, because it allowed artists to play on their own interpretations and paint what they felt instead of only what they saw. Ultimately, it was a movement of imagination and interpretation. And that's the beauty of it all. Everything was up to them.